Packers fans, Maggie Loney here. I think the Packers climbed to 6 wins this week, beating the Washington football team at Lambeau Field in their awesome 1950s throwbacks. The Washington defense is, well, the worst in the NFL right now in points against, which I think is one of the surprises of the season, given how good that unit looked at the end of last year going into the start of this season. I think it's a good test for this Packers offense to try and get some points up, get some rhythm, especially in the red zone, and start putting up big numbers because you know you're going up against some high-powered offenses in the coming weeks. I think the Packers' defense will have their hands full with scary Terry McLaurin, but if they can somehow lock him up with guys like Adrian Amos and Eric Stokes, I think they'll be okay. I'm taking the Packers 35-17, and again, they're awesome 1950s throwbacks. Go Pack, go.
What's up, Cheeseheads? Paul Brettel here. This is a game that the Green Bay Packers should control from start to finish and win fairly convincingly. This is a Washington defense that in points per game is giving up the most in the NFL. Well, you got to watch out for that pass rush. This is a secondary that can be taken advantage of. On the offensive side of the ball, you always got to be aware of Terry McLaurin, but Tyler Heineke at quarterback is limited. Packers should win this one, as I said, fairly convincingly, 31-17.
What's up, everyone? It's Tim Backus. The Packers have one more matchup against a relatively inferior opponent before they hit the meat of their schedule and start on a short week in Arizona. It's a game they really can't overlook. They've had a lot of injuries, and they're still 5-1 despite it. These are the kind of games that they have to win if they're going to continue to be in contention for the number one seed in the NFC. Fortunately, Washington isn't very good. Their defense stinks and their offense isn't nearly enough to make up for it. Give me the Packers in a relatively drama-free game. We'll go 31-14. Go Pack, go.
Hey, it's Sarah Kelleher, and hard to believe we're already in week 7, but I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be another good win for the Packers this week. You know, the Washington football team, they've really struggled on defense so far this season. They're ranked 31 out of 32 teams in the NFL. They're giving up an average of 309.5 passing yards per game. So this is the perfect opportunity for the Packers to kind of get back in sync on offense. There's been a lot of discussion about how they haven't been as efficient in the red zone. You know, the Rodgers to Tunyon connection is looking a little bit off. This is the perfect week before heading into a short week in Arizona to make sure those things click, to feel comfortable again, and I think the Packers are going to do just that. I'm going to take Green Bay 34, Washington football team 14. Let's do it, baby. Go.
Hey Packers fans, Mark Oldacres here with my prediction for Packers versus football team. Now, the challenge that the Packers are facing this week is not all that dissimilar to the one they faced against Chicago last week, in that you have a defensive front which is formidable and is stacked with talent, but a back end which is so questionable that they haven't been able to overcome it. And this defense has given up the most points in the NFL through 6 weeks, something that no one saw coming after how strong this defense was last year. On the other side of the ball, you have a strong number one wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, but a quarterback who is relatively inexperienced, struggles, and yes, he can make some plays outside of the pocket and off schedule and things like that at times, but just isn't reliable to be able to keep the ball, not turn it over, and put points up on the board. The Packers should cruise in this one. This should be the easiest game they've played other than the Lions this year. I've got the Packers winning it by a score of 31-17. Go Pack, go.
Hey Packers fans, Jersey Al here with your Packers-Washington prediction. Washington's off to a disappointing 2-4 start, but their schedule hasn't been easy. Their 4 losses were to the Patriots, Ravens, Chargers, and Saints. The injury-decimated Packers have had to battle to beat lesser teams than those. I expect another tough game, and while the term is vastly overused, the specific details here make this the very definition of a potential trap game. I don't believe, however, the Packers will fall for the trap. They will keep their eye on the prize and grind out a 27-17 victory at home. You can book it and go Pack go.
How's it going, everyone? The Washington football team is coming to Lambeau Field, and both teams enter the game with injuries along their offensive line. The Packers are the better team and should win this one pretty easily, but I think it might be closer to their 2019 matchup when they just let Washington hang around and had to recover an onside kick at the end of the game to seal the deal. So give me the Packers 28-23. Go Pack, go.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Corey Jennerjohn. Washington at Green Bay doesn't exactly have a really good ring to it, especially this year. Washington looks about as interesting as leftover oatmeal. Washington hasn't won in Lambeau since 1986, and Green Bay is 5-1 for the 3rd straight year. Washington's defense, remember they came into the season, everybody thought that Washington's defense was going to be lights out, but they've been a big Jekyll and Hyde project this year. They're ranked number 2 according to their pass rush, but they're ranked 31st according to their past coverage. Taylor Heineke, Washington's quarterback, he's going to be making his 7th career start, and even though he can make things happen with his legs, he has a big problem with throwing the ball to the other team, and that's why I'm going to pick the Packers to win this one 31-17. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey, I'm Ken Lass. The Washington football team is a mediocre team even when they're healthy. And they're not healthy. Their all-pro guard, Brandon Scherf, is out. Starting tackle, Samuel Cosme, is out. One of their best receivers, Curtis Samuel, is out. We know their quarterback, Taylor Heineke, can run around a little bit and sometimes cause a little havoc, but this team should not be good enough to beat the Green Bay Packers. But we all know sometimes the Packers have the most trouble beating teams they're supposed to beat. Let's hope that the team's leadership in the locker room has them focused on this game and this game alone and not looking forward to Arizona next Thursday. I'll take the Packers 27-14. Go Pack, go.